That is hardcore.
This is hardcore shit.
But for me, it gets harder and harder to resist.
Welcome back to Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte. It's the end of the year, 2023, Brigitte.
Wow. What's up, Mike? It's been a crazy
All right.
year, right?
Yeah, this is our last episode of the year of the season 2 of the podcast. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. A pretty good season, I think. We had some good, really cool guests and a lot of fun movie reviews, and stuff like that.
Yeah. For movies, it wasn't a bad year for horror movies.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. Real quick before we jump into what we've been watching, let's talk about a little bit about what's coming up. So we got 2024 coming up. So the year of horror never stops. I thought I'd run through a few of them that just that's very tip of the iceberg of what's going to supposedly come out next year. Some may be pushed back, never can tell, but supposedly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run through some of these, see what you think, and see if you have any anticipation for any of these or not.
Okay.
First one was a little film called Night Swim. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that one.
I think I have. Yep.
What do you think about that one? Any desire for it or any excitement there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the trailer looked good. Sometimes the trailer looks good and it can be shitty or vice versa. But I want to watch as much as I can next year. I feel like this has been a slow year for me. My list is usually double what it's been. So yes, I do already have that one on my list. Actually, I don't know. I need to look up probably a list of what months they get released on the ones that we know already.
Right. I think that was coming out pretty soon. Yeah, that was coming out pretty soon.
January. I think January.
It is a PG-13 movie. I don't know. I don't really have high hopes for it, to be honest. I will watch it eventually for sure, but I'm not for sure. I mean, being terrorized in a pool, I mean, it could be good. It could be. I'm just not sure.
I didn't realize it was PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13. So we'll see.
Damn it, Mike! Don't ruin it for me, God.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
Up next is a little movie called Imaginary. Have you seen this one about the bear?
Okay, I don't think
the trailer.
Seen this one.
Well, it hasn't come out, but the trailer.
I mean, I haven't seen the trailer for it. My bad.
Yeah, a woman returns to her childhood home to discover that the imaginary friend she left behind is very real and unhappy that she abandoned him. So basically, it's like sort of demonic force something inherits this imaginary friend through a bear.
You know what? Maybe I have seen the trailer for this. Maybe I have.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell. Again, I'll definitely put it on my list and try to watch it. No judgment. Yeah, I mean, it could be good. It could end up being pretty good. I mean, Megan did pretty good. I think I enjoyed that one. So this one will actually be pretty good. I'm not for sure, but up next was Lisa Frankenstein. Have you heard about this one? I don't think so. I don't think I've heard of this one. Okay, go ahead.
A coming-of-age love story about a teenager and her crush who happens to be a corpse. After the set of horrific circumstances bring him back to life, the two embark on a journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts. I'm very interested in this one for two reasons. Diablo Cody wrote it, the one who wrote Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, okay.
So she does pretty good stuff generally. But it's directed by Zelda Williams, who is Robin Williams' daughter.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. I didn't even know that she was even a director.
I didn't either, and this may be her first thing. I really don't know, but yeah. So Frankenstein stuff, come and go. Not always the greatest, but you can sometimes get some good twists on there. So yeah, I'll check it out. I'm interested in that.
Is it kind of like does it got like a little love story spin on it?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking just by the title. I haven't seen the trailer of this one, but based off the title, kind of like my first thought went to Warm Bodies when you're reading the title of the name.
Yes, probably somewhere similar like that. I would think. Yeah. So probably a cutesy movie, but yeah, worth checking out. Up next, we got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 coming
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Supposed to be darker and harder than the first, so why not? I say I was actually surprised about the first one, so why not?
I was too. I remember we had talked about that because it's crazy that you and I both like just so happened to seen it like the same week, and we talked about it because it had been out for a while. But I was really surprised too that how much I did enjoy the movie.
Yeah. So hopefully it's gonna be good too. Up next was The First Omen. Sounds like a prequel to The Omen. Sounds to me like a cash grab, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's those are it's really hard to say. I'll watch it. Is the release date on that one? Is it 6/6?
I don't have a release date. It could be. No, I think it's right now. What I can see is April 5th, but we'll see.
April 5th. Yeah, I just remember. So 6/6 is my birthday, and I remember an Omen movie came out the year of my birthday. It was 6/6/06. And
that would be a better method, right? That would be smart.
Yep.
That would be smart marketing, but I guess they're not up for that. But
yep.
I'm going to assume this is going to be just like a video release, straight to video.
Yeah.
Up next is A Quiet Place Day One. I think this is a spinoff to A Quiet Place.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, so they were supposed to do some spinoffs, like kind of like alternate universes or different parts of the world in the same universe kind of a deal. And I think this is that. It doesn't follow the story of the family and everything. So I like that story though. So why not continue it and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Up next is American remake of Speak No Evil. Now, I don't know if you ever watched that one or not, but if you recall, that was actually on my list of top 10 last year. And now they're doing a remake of it, American remake with James McAvoy starring in it. And I don't know about it. I don't know if it'll be any good or not.
Well, so I'm going to tell you, like, it's so like disappointing when you get an American remake and it's fucking garbage, So I'm worried about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the first one was like a Dutch Danish film, and it was really good. Like I really really liked it. I don't see them making it as good for sure, because I mean it is an extreme movie, and it is one of those movies that I feel like it's going to be totally watered down by the American version, because the Martyrs was, Inside was, stuff like that. They just can't get right. So I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, sometimes they get it okay. Let the Right One In. The remake Let Me In was okay. I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I still prefer the original, but it wasn't terrible. But this is a complicated movie, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I will check it out though. Up next is Alien Romulus. This is a new Alien movie.
So I haven't not real big on the Alien franchise movies. You are, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love the first two for sure. I love the first two. I think they're just amazing movies.
Yeah, me too. But like after that,
no. I mean, I've seen them all. Are there any real standouts beyond that? Not really. I mean, not really. But this one is supposed to take place, as far as I can remember. See, I'm getting confused because there was actually a TV show being made at the same time too with aliens. So I get confused. But I think it's either this or the TV show. One of them is set in between Alien and Aliens, the first two movies. So we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Up next, there's going to be a new Saw movie. With the
already,
the last one.
Wow!
They've already announced that Saw's coming back. So, yeah, I assume it may be just like the last one, where it's going to be some sort of time period in between a couple of films there, and something like that. So I'm sure we'll have the gang back, and why not? I say, bring them on. Another sequel, Smile 2. Is supposed to release next year.
I think Smile was on my the top of my list last year.
Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah, yeah, it should be. I mean, that's a story that you can definitely expand upon and do more things. So I think that one will probably end up being pretty good. Up next, there is a little movie coming out around is it Halloween or Christmas? I don't know, but it's Terrifier 3, set on Christmas. It's coming out. It's coming out right in October, but it's a Christmas themed movie. This is going to be good. You know, I feel like it's going to be good.
Yeah.
If they just keep the pace a little bit better than the second one and not have it as long, I think it's going to be really good. But so the cast is back from the second one, so yeah. Should be
yeah. I love the Terrifier movies, so I'm looking forward to. And the fact for a Christmas movie is awesome. And it's funny. A lot of the movies that you're talking about is like a spinoff, a remake, or you know. So and it's funny that as you're talking, I'm sitting here thinking about all the movies that I've watched this year, and there's a lot of movies that was released in 2023 where I'd watch them and I would say, oh, they're leaving it open for another, part 2 or part 3 or part 11.
You gotta have a franchise these days.
Yeah.
And speaking of remakes, Nosferatu, remake of Nosferatu, Robert Eggers guy, the one who did The Lighthouse and The Witch and all that stuff, is doing a version of it. Maybe good. I don't know. The guy who played Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård, he's the one who's playing the Count. So.
Yeah, I knew that, and that was the one thing that really excited me. I love me some Skarsgårds now. So yeah, no, I'll watch it. So The Lighthouse and what was the other one he did?
The Witch.
The Witch, yeah. Both of those were really slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
Both great movies, but they were really slow. It was so hard for me to sit through them. So I'm curious to see if this one's kind of going to be kind of the same.
Yeah, but I can see him making this it's kind of sort of set in his world kind of stuff.
I think so too. Yeah, he's probably a good person for it for sure.
And he probably will be black and white. I don't know. He may not. He may be color. I don't know. But that could go either way, I guess. But
yeah.
Up next is the end of the trilogy, Maxine. The end of the X trilogy is going to be dropping next year. Maxine with X and Pearl, and we got Maxine. This is something to do with like a serial killer or something in the 80s or something.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely watch it. It's funny because Pearl, I was not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But X, I loved X. I loved it. It's really funny. I was like, oh, her character is so completely different. I'm curious to check that one out.
Yeah, I want to see the end of the trilogy. We have Faces of Death, the remake, which
have you and I talked about this one before?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, just about how it just doesn't really make a lot of sense because you're doing like a I don't know. It's a weird concept to pull off in 2024, but we'll see how it goes.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too. I'm like, I don't. It's already been done. It was the whole thing was like, I think some of it was real, some of it, but a lot of it wasn't. And it's supposed to be like, oh my God, but now it'd be harder to pull off today for sure.
Yeah. And the last two I want to mention is more remakes. Remake of Witchboard and remake of Salem's Lot.
Yeah. Wow, doing those remakes of them Dracula movies.
Yeah. Well, I think that one's already done. I don't know. I think it was already supposed to be released. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I'm assuming it's going to get released next year. So, and Witchboard, I like Witchboard, the original, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I love the original. Yeah. But I mean, that's not even, again, just a little bit of the proposed amount of movies that are coming out next year. So there's going to be a lot. How many of those, you might not even know this, but of those that you just named off for 2024 are remakes or like spinoffs?
Remake, sequels, or spinoffs?
Yeah.
The majority.
That's what I was gonna say. That's crazy. Are
Yeah.
we running out of ideas?
Well, we've been there for a while, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
but
You're
yeah,
definitely right.
yeah. That is true. Most of them are. So, well, we'll see. But I'm sure we'll find some shining ones that we did, some original ones somewhere
Oh
in
yeah,
there,
for
and
sure.
some, you know,
Yeah,
needles in
that's
the
what we
needle,
do. We dig for those hidden gems.
yeah, a needle in the haystack kind of thing.
Heck yeah.
So before we get to the list of top movies, let's go with what you've been watching since last time we did a podcast. We got
So, so a few of these are ones that are on my list, of my top movies. But so, let's see. I won't run through. Well, okay. Actually, everyone actually made my list. Those movies that I was wanting to check off.
they're fresh on your mind.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those. I'm like, oh God, I've got to watch this. I have to watch it before we have the podcast, and I'm so glad that I did. So, yeah. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and go through your list.
Okay. All right. So my list of what I watched.
Yeah,
Then?
just what you watched. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, up first was Blumhouse's Compendium of Horror. I finally got around to watching that documentary series. I can just watch any documentary series about horror, and there's quite a few of them. But this one is pretty good. I mean, it's got a bunch of episodes. I mean, it pretty much, details from early on till now. So it just really hits the highlights mostly. But, still good to see the interviews and hear people talk about the stories of the making of and stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It's on Epics. I think you can check that one out.
Okay.
Up next was a little vampire movie called Pale Blood. I've never seen it before. It's very low key, low budget kind of thing. A vampire arrives in Los Angeles to investigate a recent series of murders which bears the hallmarks of vampire attacks. Wanting to track down the murderer, he hires a private investigator who herself is obsessed with vampire mythology. It was okay. It's not a great movie by any means. It's more of a late night, low budget horror movie kind of deal.
Okay.
Up next, a rewatch of Terrifier, the first one. It's been a while since I'd seen the first one. I rewatched that one.
Yeah, always a good rewatch. That's one that I've watched so many times, and I could probably watch it again.
Yeah, definitely. Up next was a little documentary of Friedkin Uncut. That's just a documentary about the director of The Exorcist and pretty much all of his movies. But of course, it talks about The Exorcist. And I can watch anything about that movie, so I always try to find the documentaries about it. I think there's a new one just about that movie coming out too. But so this one's just about all of his stuff. But the guy was a genius, so I do like to check out what he has done when he makes documentaries and talks. Up next was Fog City.
Fog City. I don't think I've heard of this one.
This is a new one. So now this is by the guy Steve Walsh. Remember him?
Steve Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
It rings a bell.
Yeah. We talked about him before. I mean,
I thought we had, but you've got to refresh me on it.
I am intrigued with this guy because I mean it's weird. Okay, he's the one that did Kill Her Goats.
Okay. All right, got it.
Right. And he also did Muck. And I don't know if you saw Muck or not, but so he, Killer Goats came out not that long ago. Now he's already got this movie out, boom, in the can. And there is talk that he's going to be doing the Return of the Living Dead remake. I don't know if that's going to actually pan out, but that was a story, maybe hearsay. But the thing about this guy, this guy is really good at advertising. I've been seeing advertisements for Fog City every time I go on social media anywhere for like a month now, and I still do. I guarantee I could probably open up right now and see an advertisement for Fog City. So
the man he knows how to market for sure.
He markets great, and and he does these crowdfunding, and he gets like so much money to make these movies, so much money. I don't think he's a great filmmaker per se, but I will give him this. I think honestly, the evolution is there. Every movie that he's made has gotten better, and this one is probably his best one to date. If you go from Muck, which is kind of like all over the place and what the heck is going on, to Killer Goats, which it's it has some moments, but there are some things that definitely could have went better, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And Fox City, and he still has some of his trademark stuff in here, but they're not like prancing around with showing off T-shirts of Muck every 5 minutes. You know, it's not exactly a ha 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 look at me kind of thing. He's trying to be a little bit more serious, and obviously he's a fan of John Carpenter because it's kind of a blend of The Fog and say something like The Thing. You know,
That's good. Well, that's what I thought when you told me the title. That's the first thing I thought.
Right. Yeah.
Now, Muck, did that come out this year?
No, Muck came out in 2015, so it's been a while.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
What's that one about?
Now that's a question.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's weird because it starts off like very weird, like in the plot. It kind of like starts off in the middle of a plot, and it's got like, I mean, just tons of TNA kind of stuff.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it's. I mean, you know.
I'm like, no wonder you're looking forward to these movies.
No, well, okay. Well, he hired these playmates and stuff, just like he did in the Killer Goat stuff. But the plot is definitely nowhere near as linear that you know than what it needs to be. But you can check that one out on Tubi. Muck, it's on Tubi.
Okay.
Yeah, but Fox City, it's just better. It's better. It's definitely more centralized. It is a plot. It does go from point A to point B. I mean, there is some of his hallmark stuff there. You go, okay, yeah, there we go. But I mean, it works. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's probably, like I said, it's probably the better one that he's done so far. Doesn't have any big name actors in this one. You know, he's been using Kane Hodder for the other two, but nobody really big in this one. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I give him kudos. He's getting better. He's getting better all the time. So
okay,
not too bad. Up next was The Halloween That Almost Wasn't. This is a little 30-minute film that if you want to call it a film, TV show, I guess. I found on YouTube. I found this on YouTube, and so apparently, like back in the late '60s, early '70s, they had all these different little shorts called the Halloween that wasn't, the Christmas that wasn't, the Thanksgiving that wasn't, stuff like that. I'd never heard of them before. I mean, obviously, I was young when it came out, but I never even heard of it. So it's on YouTube. It's really cute. It's just cute.
Mm-hmm.
But it's made for TV. It's just about all the characters, you know, the monsters, the typical monsters, and they're trying to get Halloween happening, but the witch, she has to do this sort of ritual, but she's refusing to do it, so there's all this chaos about it, and she's have all these demands, and it's just a cute little thing. But it's 30 minutes. You can check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, sometimes little cute movies is just what you might need that night, you know?
Yeah. Up next is a movie from 1973 called The Baby.
The Baby.
Mm-hmm.
The Baby from 1973.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, it's such like a generic name for this generic title.
It is a generic name. Yeah, a social worker, still reeling from the loss of her architect husband, investigates the eccentric, psychedelic Wadsworth family consisting of a mother, 2 daughters, and an adult son with the apparent mental capacity of an infant.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not what I was thinking of. It'd be a little bit different, but did you like it? It was good.
I mean, it's different. It is different. It's weird. So you got this woman who's a social worker, and she just kind of gets assigned to this family, you know, for this baby. So she goes in, and the baby is an adult male.
Oh,
but it's weird because she doesn't freak out about it, nothing. She just kind of treats it as normal. And it plays like that for like the longest time, and you're like, this is weird, but I mean, whatever. And it's and all that just ends up being a drama, but then it doesn't get to the horror until the very end part, and then it goes kind of batshit. So, I mean, is it great? No. Is it worth a watch? Sure.
Was this your first time seeing this one?
It's the first time I ever heard of it, even. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Up next was a new movie called The Sacrifice Game. You heard of this one?
I think so, and I feel like I've seen it.
So it dropped on Shudder just a little while back, not too long ago. It's bad enough that boarding school students, Samantha and Clara, can't go home for the holidays, but to make things take a deadly turn when things take a deadly turn when I can't talk now. But things take a deadly turn when a murderous gang arrives on their doorstep just in time for Christmas. I really like this movie.
Okay, maybe I haven't seen it. So it's a Christmas movie then.
I mean, it's not a Christmas movie. It is at Christmas time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we've talked about that. There's kind of a difference there. I get it.
Yeah. But it's pretty good though. I like it. It's just about this group of people who are just going around killing people, and they're trying to summon a demon. And it's nothing original necessarily, but it's fun and it's something we haven't really seen in a while. So I do recommend it.
Okay.
I think it was good. Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's on Shudder.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you next. Is where to stream it at? Okay, Shudder. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Up next was a rewatch of Silent Night. Speaking of generic names, man, there are way too many movies called Silent Night. You know
I was going to say which one?
Well, there's
There's a bunch.
Oh, there's a bunch. Look, there's a new action movie that just came out called Silent Night. This isn't what I watched, and there's another one that dropped maybe last year or year before last. That's kind of a horror comedy, sort of an apocalyptic kind of thing called Silent Night. This is the Santa Claus one, the one that came out in 2012. It's really kind of technically a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, technically.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you seen this one?
I haven't seen that one. I've seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, but this one you're talking about, I haven't seen.
Watch it. I actually like it. It's actually a really good sort of Santa slasher movie.
Okay. That's why it's like I was getting really tired of like the killer Santas, but I mean sometimes I mean if it's got a good like twist or spin on it.
Well, the Silent Night, Deadly Nights are mostly notorious for people boycotting them back in the day. Let's be honest. I mean, they're not that great.
Right.
They're really not. But this one's actually pretty good. I actually do like this one. I think it's pretty well done. It's got some good kills and stuff in it. And Malcolm McDonald is in it. And probably a few other people that you've seen. So, yeah, I think it's a good movie.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Up next is, the movie that we will be talking about. If you want to go ahead and talk about it. Let me get the rest of them out of the way, then we'll talk about it. Today I watched a little movie called Secret Santa. You heard of this one?
You know what? I think so. I had that on my list to watch. I haven't watched it yet. I'll definitely watch that before Christmas. But
the 2018 one, the one about the family.
Yeah. So did you like it?
It was pretty decent. I mean, it's a very low budget indie kind of film, and it's mostly
that's kind of what I kind of like about it. I love it. I do. So
well, it's just about a family, around Christmas time, and they just kind of hate each other, and it kind of gets really bad. But there's also a reason, because there's an outbreak kind of a thing. But I mean, there's some annoying characters and stuff, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, it's decent little watch. Last thing I watched was a revisit of Rare Exports. You seen this movie?
No, what's it called again?
Called Rare Exports.
Rare Exports. No, I don't even think I've heard of it.
Oh, you gotta watch this one. In the depths of the mountains lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up. This Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus. It's about these guys, and they're digging. They find Santa Claus, but it's really dark, and Santa Claus is not exactly there to give them toys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you stream this one at?
I watched it on Screenbox, but it's on Peacock and it's on Tubi. Okay. It's a lot of places. Rare Exports. I like it though. It's not the best, but I do put it up there in my list of good Christmas horror. And the last thing I watched was the movie that we were supposed to watch, the hardcore horror Tumbling Doll of Flesh.
Yes. I had a hard time, like, every time I would try to click on the link you sent me to watch it, like, I just could not get it to play. I finally ended up having to watch the version that didn't have the English subtitles.
Oh, no. So you didn't get to watch the one with subtitles?
I didn't get to. No, I kept trying to over and over
darn
again.
It.
I think it had something to do with I really think it had something to do with my iPad.
Maybe.
I'm not sure, but you're like, okay, watch the first option and just there'll be a couple pop-ups, exile those, and I kept trying over and over and over again. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna just watch the one with no.
Well, I mean, there's
So
not too. I guess there's not really that much of a plot to say, but
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
So when we think of the term torture porn, we think of Hostel, because that's kind of got lumped into it. But I would say this is real torture porn, wouldn't you say?
Yes, 100%.
So to give you the brief thing is this girl has agreed to do scenes with these guys, and they ask her if she's okay with doing hardcore scenes, extreme scenes. He's like, yeah, it's fine. So she kind of sets herself up for it. She's like, oh yeah, I'm good. I want to do all this stuff. And so they go to these remote places and stuff. And then once they start doing the more extreme stuff, she's like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So she backs out, and then things get really bad.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny because it was a little bit harder for me to even follow any kind of a storyline with.
Well, it's simple, but there is a story. I mean, it's a plot from A to B. I mean, it's really simple. I mean, it's a really short film too. It's just over a little over an hour.
Yeah.
Not too much at all, but it's pretty simple. I liked it overall. It wasn't great, but it's a very good cautionary tale about somebody doing a casting couch. I'll tell you that.
Oh wow, yeah. Then this movie's definitely not for everyone. Again, this is definitely an extreme horror movie, and it's not going to be for everyone. So just note that going in before you watch it.
Yeah, but it's low budget, and it's not. I mean, the practical effects obviously don't look like realistic that much anyway. So I'm pretty sure they didn't take anybody into court because of this movie. I wouldn't think, but I mean, it's enough to suffice though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of gore, and
there is a lot of unsimulated.
Yeah.
Intercourse happening here. There is no denying that. It's a straight up porn pretty much until it gets to the horror.
Yeah.
Even sometimes after the horror, but
yeah, right. So now, where did you find this movie? Because I had never heard of it.
It was just on a list, on a hardcore list at one point, and I wrote it down. That's all I know. I don't know exactly where I found it, but yeah, somewhere it caught my attention of being like extreme. But yeah, it is kind of harder to find. It's not really like one of those well known, well talked about movies, I guess. But what do you think overall?
I mean, it wasn't bad, really. It wasn't bad. I really want to go back and watch it with the English subtitles. Because it was really hard for me to sit there and watch through it. I mean, I was multitasking while I was watching it because it was really hard for me to sit there with no subtitles. I mean, it's hard enough it's in a foreign language. So, but from what I could tell, I was like, oh, this looks like it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty damn good. Is not for everyone.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely not for everyone.
Yeah, it's very extreme.
Did you catch the little poop scene? There was
that poop scene.
There was a little poop scene.
You want to explain the poop scene?
No, I mean it was literally just a little shot of. No, I don't.
I don't either. Just note, going in, there is a poop scene.
It's very brief. They don't allude to it after that at all. It's just one little shot, but it's fine. But so that I don't know. Like I said, it's a good cautionary tale. Yeah, definitely not for everybody. If checking off your list, if torture porn, extreme and real torture porn doesn't appeal to you, then this movie would not be for you.
Yeah. Would you watch this again, Mike? Would you ever watch it again?
I don't know. Definitely not anytime soon.
Yeah. It's kind of like the it's kind of like the what was those first ones we were watching, the regurgitated sacrifice. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, they're all, this movie's on up there on that level, where it's a lot. It's a lot to take in for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's very nihilistic for sure.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find any happy endings here, but yeah, I mean it's short enough that it's not like you feel like, oh my god, I wasted so much time. Yeah, down the road maybe eventually, but
So,
it's
and do you know anything about the director of the movie? I always like to research. What was this? Is all movies like this, or is it just a random one time thing? Do you know anything about the director?
I do not know.
Yeah, I was just kind of just curious.
So other movies that he directed was Suicide Dolls. I don't think I've seen that. Women's Flesh, My Red Guts. That sounds pretty familiar. So, that sounds like that might be. He only made 5 movies though.
Oh, okay.
Didn't make a whole lot. Didn't make a whole lot of movies.
Did Tumbling Doll of Flesh? It came out. Was it 1998? Is that right?
Yep, 1998. That's right.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, all right. Yeah. So we haven't even talked about it. Do we have another a movie for our next pod? An extreme movie?
Well, I mean I can find one if you don't have one.
I didn't even think about it. But if you want to find us one, so I can go ahead and put that on my list.
Yeah. The thing is that you never know with what you're getting. Like I said, I didn't know anything about this movie other than the fact that it was extreme. So when I put it on my list, it's like you never know what you're going to get. So
at least it was extreme. So our extreme pick on the last pod was Pinocchio 964 or 964 Pinocchio, and it was on my extreme list, and it wasn't that extreme, but so at least Tumbling Doll of Flesh was like definitely check that box.
Oh yeah,
you can check several of those boxes.
I think so. I think so too.
Yeah. So that was a good pick on your part.
So there's a movie called Sweet Movie. I don't know if I can find it or not, but we can try to look for that one.
Sweet Movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's one called Sweet Movie, and then I got one called Singapore Sling. Have you heard of that one?
I feel like I have heard of it.
All right. So we'll look for Sweet Movie first, and if we can't find that, we'll maybe go with Singapore Sling.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right. Stay tuned.
So you got any that you have had watched that you want to talk about before we go to the countdown?
Nope. Let's go right into the countdown. This has been a really slow couple of weeks for me.
All right.
Watching movies, but I do have. I mean, I was like really checking. Like, hey, let me put these in. Before. So we'll see how this shakes out.
Well, that's crazy. You got them all recently. So earlier in the podcast, you said it's been a really good year for horror.
I say that.
I don't really think so.
I say that, but then I was going, damn, Brigitte, you had a really hard time coming up with your 10. But I did the same thing last year. If you remember that last year, you're like, you can't even come up with 10 that I like that much.
Right. That's true.
This one 10. So when I came up with this list, I was like, I'm not gonna overthink this. Like last year, I really was overthinking. I was like, I'll just name 10 that I like that much. But right. Yeah, there was some okay ones. I did come up with my list of my least favorite, real quick. Real quick.
Real quick. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely wasn't some good movies. I mean, I've got more than a list. I've got some honorable mentions even. So there's that. But at the same time, I'm looking at my list. I'm thinking, I mean, these are some good movies, but I don't know if there's anything like just fucking great.
Now I will say this, that last year you and I both had our top favorite movie last year. Both of us was Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched that movie, I was like, holy shit, that everything that I love about horror movies, it kind of checked all of them off. And it was like one of those, like, I was satisfied. Oh my God, finally watched an extreme awesome horror movie. And there was no movies this year that did that for me.
No, not for me either. So, all right. So then let's do the top five. Is that what you got? Top five disappointments?
Yeah. Top 5 disappointments.
Number 5. What do you got?
All right. Number 5. I'm going to do these. Number 5, From Black. Did you see this movie?
What's it called?
From Black.
From Black. I don't even know if I saw that.
Okay. So, it was the, did you ever watch True Blood?
Yeah.
True Blood. So,
I did see that movie.
You did see it. Oh, did you like it?
I just remember being.
You don't even remember watching it. So it must not have been that damn good.
I mean, I don't remember hating it, but it definitely wasn't like an indelible impression as last time.
Yeah. It's so From Black. Oh, the girl's name that was in True Blood, her name's Anna Camp.
Yeah.
The acting was good. The acting was good. So it's about she's wanting to bring her son back, from the dead, and I had a lot of high hopes for this movie, and maybe that's why it was such a disappointment for me. I was like, man, they could have took this and done so much better with it. So that made my number 5.
Okay, so my number 5 is Malum. Malum is my number 5. I don't know if you remember me talking about Malum or not, but Malum, it's weird because Malum is a remake of a movie called Last Shift, which I love Last Shift. I think it's a really well-made movie. And Malum is a remake, and that movie, Last Shift, only came out in 2014. So this is a remake of that movie by the same director, and it just felt a little pointless. I mean, because if you're gonna if you're like, okay, I need to remake my own movie ASAP, and let's remake it now. I mean, there probably need to be a reason, But I didn't feel like this one was better than the first one because the first one was really good. So I didn't really see the point of it. It's not a terrible movie. I just kind of was hoping it was gonna oh my God, he's gonna remake it. It's gonna be like amazing or something. But I didn't really feel like it was any better.
Okay.
So
it's funny because I'm like you. I liked Last Shift. It was a great movie, but if it's kind of like a remake of it and it's the same director, did he feel like, oh, I didn't do it great the first time?
I mean, there was a couple little plot points that he put in there, but I didn't feel like they were necessary at all. So just not really, not a terrible movie, but not a disappointment to me because it just didn't live up to the hype of what I thought it was going to be. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is, and it's funny that I've noticed that this movie's on a lot of people's top favorite list, but it made one of my not so favorites. Was a movie called Cobweb.
Yeah.
Cobweb, it was creepy. It was creepy as shit. I'll give it that. It was really creepy, but I think it was the story that kind of did it away. It was very predictable for me. And I just think that they could have done a whole lot more with this film. What about you? I know you watched it. I remember us talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I mean, once it gets to what it gets to be, but for the longest time, I was sitting there going like, "What is this going to be? Is this bad parenting?" And the parents are too strange. I think it just gives a lot of it away too much. But it's a weird movie. Like title, I'm like, is this going to be about a spider? Kind of.
Yeah, and that aspect of it was really creepy. But I'm kind of like you. I'm like, I couldn't figure out what it was doing, and then you're like, why is the parents acting like this? And it doesn't ever really tell you why.
Not really. Yeah, not really. But
it left a lot of questions out there for me.
Right. Yeah. True. I mean, it was okay. I don't hate it or nothing, but I can see why you'd put it on your list.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it just made my, not 5. And I also want to point out that all these movies that are on both my favorites and my dislikes, this is just based off of movies that I've watched. There's a lot of movies out there that come out in 2023 that I did never got around to watching.
Oh,
So
sure, absolutely.
so
There always are, and always will be. You know, that's
yeah,
just it. You never catch them all. So this is just a summation of our watches, really. So I mean,
yeah. So what about you? What do you have for number 4?
all right, number 4, I got Run Rabbit Run.
Okay, so I didn't see that one, and I wanted to see it, but I do remember. See, a lot of times you'll be like, and I'll be like, all right, well, I can just skip that one for right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember that much about it, but I remember not liking it. Like I just thought, man, this is not good. This is a little, tried and true tropes kind of a deal.
Yeah,
I was not impressed with it, and again, here so many months afterward, I barely remember too much about it. Just that it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not saying it's a horrible movie, but I don't think it was that good.
yeah. It's I don't I didn't again I didn't watch it, and I do like to always form my own opinion, but it was one I was like, maybe I'll just skip it, but I didn't see that. I've read a lot of like, hey, what are other people liking and disliking? Because it's funny because a lot of my dislikes are on people's favorites, but I never saw that movie Run Rabbit Run. I never saw it on any lists, any favorites, or even worse movies.
I mean, yeah, kind of like just a generic Netflix movie that kind of came and went, real quick.
Yeah. Was it a Netflix original?
I think it was. I want to say it was. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think it was.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. So, my number 3 is a movie called Clock. Did you end up watching Clock?
Clock?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Clock is it's about a woman who she thinks her biological clock is broken.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember you talking about it.
And it's crazy. This is another movie that had really, really great reviews, but I couldn't get into it at all. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't gory. I mean, it's it never. I kept waiting for it to really take off, and when it took off, and it was just like, that's it. I mean, and then the storyline completely kind of changed on me. I didn't like it. I wouldn't even recommend it to anyone, honestly. Did you end up seeing it or no?
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, you're not missing much. So
okay. there was a reason I didn't get around to it,
right.
All right, number 3 for me, Pet Sematary Bloodlines.
Okay, so I didn't watch that one, but I do remember you saying that was not so great.
Yeah. The prequel to Pet Sematary, totally unnecessary. Nothing really that great about it here. Pretty much you can catch anything good in the trailer, I think. I mean, more of just a cash cow or hey, remember this franchise, go buy the rest of them kind of a deal,
Yeah.
And this is what I kind of think that New Omen's going to be like too, the prequel or whatever, probably like along the same line. So if it is, it's going to be too bad. But yeah, this one wasn't really necessary for me. I didn't particularly like it that much. So.
And I can't remember. Did it was it based off of any of the other Pet Cemeteries or no, not at all?
Well, to me it was a prequel to the remake, I think.
Okay.
I think that's where we are.
Gotcha. So I wasn't a big fan of the remake.
Mm-hmm.
So did you like the remake?
I mean, I liked it. Okay, it's definitely not as good. It's definitely not as good as the first. I mean, I think they probably did maybe as good as they could to be a remake, but not necessary. The remake wasn't necessary, but no, the original is definitely the best.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So, my number 2 is Kill Her Goats.
Kill Her Goats. All right.
Man, it's so sad. I was like, there was some good kill scenes in there. I'll give it that. I just and I'm gonna give the director kudos because he had all these like Playboy bunnies, which I'm sure was a challenge to get all of them on a film set, but their acting wasn't great, and we talked about this before. It was almost like 13-year-old horny boy like making a movie.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard for me to watch. I mean, Tracy loved it. He loved it.
Oh, did
He loved it. He was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, that didn't really do it for me. So.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely could have been better. I mean, for somebody who goes to these great lengths to make sure people know about his movies and stuff, and really promotes it, and has like great covers and stuff. Like really good marketing. I mean, it's just maybe more time spent on the story. But like I said, the Fog City was better. So hopefully, maybe down the line, who knows, it may create a masterpiece.
Yep. So we'll stay tuned. I'll still watch the Fog movie coming out though. I will.
Sure. Okay. All right. Number 2 for me, disappointment. 2023, The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Okay. I don't see this one either. I probably didn't see it because you probably mentioned that you didn't like it the first time.
Yeah, and it's not that it's really a bad movie. Again, these are disappointments to me because I mean, I think it did have potential to be a lot better than what it was. Made by the guy who did The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I love that movie.
I love that movie too. Wow.
Yeah, so you've got these characters in a central location. You think that, I mean, lightning doesn't always strike, but yeah, I mean, it's not that great. I didn't like the ending, the way that they Hollywoodized the ending, whatever. But I mean, it just wasn't, I don't know, as fulfilling as maybe it should have been to me. I mean, it's not terrible. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. The acting is good. The cinematography is good and everything. It's well directed and everything. But at the same time, it just, for some reason, doesn't fulfill that horror need,
Yeah. Ooh, fulfill the horror need. Yes.
Yeah.
I missed that a lot this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for my my most disappointed?
Your most disappointed movie of 2023. What do you got?
I bet you could guess this one. It is Skinamarink.
Skinamarink. All right. Okay. Well, was that one even technically? I guess it was because it came out in 2023 or 2, I think. But
Did it? I thought it came out this year.
No, I think it got released, and then I think as far as like the wide release, it was this year, so it counts. It counts. If you want to count that, then that would definitely be on my list. I mean, for sure.
You're right. I don't know why. Why did I think it was 2023?
I think that it's been a while. Let me see.
So the crazy thing is I don't know. I didn't realize 2022. And when I've been, I love to check out other people's reviews and other people's opinions. This movie made so many people's top favorite movies of 2023.
It did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the major release date was in 2023. Then let's revise and let me put that on my list. You know what? That would be we could drop Run Rabbit Run, and we could do Mallium is 5, and then Pet Cemetery, and then Lost Voyage, and then Skinamarink.
Okay.
That movie is bad. It's terrible.
And the crazy thing is, Mike, is that you and I both feel the same way about it. I swear to you, like, I've been watching a lot of, hey, let me see what everybody else is thinking. I'm like, that movie made so many people's like top favorites. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Did they really watch the fucking movie? I mean,
well, I mean,
yeah.
Some people got to be different.
Yeah, or some people gotta tell the truth. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. Oh God, Skinamarink for me, total snooze fest. I didn't even make it all the way. I couldn't even make it all the way through it. I know it was trying to be super artistic, but to me it was just holding a camera and at a door frame, or the ceiling. I mean, it was just terrible, awful.
Yeah, way too long. It's too unnecessary. I mean, the thing is, it's a different culture. These people, they play these video games, and they, and like everybody's like have their headsets and stuff, so they're glued to sound and stuff. And there's certain video games where it's just pitch dark and you can't hear anything, or you can't see anything, but hear the sounds. And I think that's the culture that grasped onto this movie.
Mm-hmm.
stuff, people like that, people that are in that ASMR kind of stuff. But as just a typical movie watcher, I mean, it didn't do much for me personally.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I get where they were going with it, and again, it's not that it wasn't a good attempt at a concept, but had it been like a little short film, which I know they did a short version, I never saw it, but a super short film, I think it would have been okay. But at an hour and 40 minutes of walls and ceilings and barely some whispers sometimes.
Yeah, definitely would have been better as a short.
Yeah,
agree with you. Yeah. All right. So, did you go through your whole list?
No, I haven't. I haven't done my number one.
You got to do your number one because you kicked one off and add Skinamarink.
Because as much as I don't like Skinamarink, there was one that was way more of a disappointment for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is The Exorcist. Believer.
Okay. All right. So I didn't watch that one. I kind of skipped over it. I skipped over it based off of, kind of what you had told me. And I was like, I'll probably end up watching it later on just to watch it. But that's another one. That's another movie that made a lot of people's like top favorites.
Really?
23. Yeah. And I'm like,
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So no, I'll still watch it at some point. But now I did read that there was a couple of people that did have it on their disappointing list. Yeah. For sure. So got a little mix there, but again, like a lot of these, movie reviewers and stuff is, I don't know. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yes, of course. And I can see why some people might like it. I don't know, but if you grew up loving The Exorcist and it's one of my favorite movies and stuff, I mean, you kind of guard that a little closer than some people, and this movie, I'm just thankful that they didn't call it The Exorcist. Thankfully, they had no sense to not call it The Exorcist instead of the Believer, so that works better, I think. But it just didn't work for me. I don't like, I've mentioned in my review before, I thought the pacing was no good. Having two of them there, you didn't really get to focus or care about too much of the characters. It was pretty obvious from the first few frames of where it was going and what the ending was going to be. I hated what they did with the legacy character. Just there was so much that wasn't. I mean, there's some cool flashing demon scenes. I mean, there's that. Sure, that's about it. There's not much to it. I mean, the smorgasbord of religion trying to exorcise the demon at the end is laughable. And there was no good, real demonic stuff. The whole sort of thing that The Exorcist had was so many good moments that Reagan played out, being devilishly, I guess you would say, or being a demon. So many great scenes there that were not in here at all. The one family jumped straight into my daughter's possessed, other than, in the original where, her mom's taking her to figure out what's wrong with her. There's so much. It felt so realistic, and it just seems like, let's get through this movie so we can make the other two.
Does it make you wonder because one The Exorcist would be really hard because it was so great. It was so great when it came out. Do you ever wonder if a lot of people that have seen this movie and they really love it, maybe they haven't seen the original Exorcist?
I actually have seen quite a few people say that recently. I haven't even seen the original. So I mean, we're talking about it's over. It's over 50 years old. So
yeah, right. It's it's funny, and especially younger generation. I was talking to this guy the other day, and we happened to talk about Martyrs, and I was like, "Oh, have you seen it?" He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Wait, which version?" Mm-hmm. And it was the remake, and I'm like, the American remake, and I'm like, "Oh no, no, you've got to watch the original." So that's one thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and I think the more it goes along, the more people are not going to want to watch it or think it's scary or even know the cultural impact that it had back in the day. But I mean, it's had some last for 50 years and still have as much significance as it does. I feel like is a testament to how good it is. But and so yeah, I mean, to me, I don't feel like and a sequel to that movie should have ever been made.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only been one good one, really. That's the third one, who was it was directed by the writer of the book, The Extras. So he kind of knew what he was doing, I guess. But and we talked about that before. You said you didn't really like it that much, and I told you I didn't either. But now that I'm older, watched it many more times, I love it. I think it's good. It's really good, but it's not as good as The Extras. None of them are ever anywhere near as close as the first one. So to make a sequel like that is hard, and it's not one I really wanted anyway. But again, I mean, at least maybe try. But hey, we got 2 more coming. So all right,
Yeah.
that's my list of that. So now let's go to the top 10 favorite movies. I do have 3 honorable mentions. Do you have any honorable mentions? If not, I'll run through these real quick.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. You go for it.
Okay. All right. So honorable mentions, real close was No One Will Save You. It was that little home invasion movie on Hulu, but it was instead of like attackers, it was aliens.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good. I actually really liked it. I thought it was well done. Those aliens, they weren't meek. Let me tell you, they were coming to get her.
Man, you know what? One thing I watched this movie for the first time a few nights ago. It's one of those I got in there like really quick, and one thing about this movie that I absolutely loved is that there wasn't hardly any dialogue.
Oh right, yeah, that's true.
And it's she's out there kind of like by herself, and it almost, with there not being a lot of dialogue, it almost makes you feel like you're more like you're almost isolated. It gives it a really good feel. It almost makes you feel like it's a more isolated situation with there not being the dialogue. I thought, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. Really good movie. Another honorable mention: Night of the Hunted.
Okay, so I haven't seen this one. Okay.
Yeah. So this was that one where it was the sniper. Basically, it's the girl who's kind of just trapped inside a convenience store, and there's a sniper out there.
Okay.
And that premise sounds boring, but it actually was pretty good. Actually, I really did enjoy it, and it left a lot of things open. There's things you don't really know why, a lot of the reasons and stuff. But I like that about it because you didn't. Everything wasn't just given to you. So I did. I thought it was pretty good. Not a bad watch. And the last one I want to talk about before I get to my top 10 was Five Nights at Freddy's. Now this is a family horror movie, and this is a movie that you can watch with your kids. My kids have watched it and everything, and it's done really well. It's not been out that long, but it's already the highest grossing Blumhouse movie ever.
Oh, no kidding. That's pretty crazy. This is on a lot of people's like top favorites, a lot of people's like top favorite 3. It's
Really?
made a lot. I haven't seen it, so I couldn't mention it, but I do want to watch it when it does get released to stream. I definitely.
It's already on. It got released.
Where you stream it at?
Well, that was the thing. It got released on Peacock the exact same time and got released in theaters. So for it to do as well as it did,
I haven't seen it. Okay, yeah, I'm surprised that it hit so quick because I feel like it just came out.
Oh yeah, well, it dropped exactly right before Halloween. I mean, for the hardcore horror lovers, this is PG-13. So if you really want something like this, obviously Willy's Wonderland is out there. Banana Splits movie, stuff like that is a little bit more probably, up your alley if you want more gore and blood and stuff. But for a decent little, again, family horror, it's not bad. I've been playing the games now. I didn't play any of them before, so I didn't really know that much about all it entailed. But playing the games now and then watching the movie, yeah, I can tell like where it hits all the right buttons for the fans of the franchise and everything. So, pretty decent little movie. Again, PG-13, but they're going to make more though. They're making more because it's done so well.
Yeah.
All right, so
Everyone I know that watched it really loved it. So
okay, yeah,
put that on the list. Yeah.
all right. So what's your number 10?
So my number 10, you just talked about it. It's funny. I wondered if you picked up on. I was like, I just watched this for the first time
Yeah.
2 days ago. Is No One Will Save You.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I really liked it. Which it was a different spin. No dialogue, and the aliens, like, they were wow, they were like getting it. I thought it was a fun. I usually typically don't like the sci-fi type horror movies, but this one I did. I really loved it.
Yeah, it was definitely unique. I mean, you don't see them like trying to get somebody as feverishly as they were with her. So
yeah, and I mean, and there was parts I was like, oh my god, that's so creepy, and then there was parts where I was kind of laughing too. So I was like, oh, it's like, I thought it was really good.
mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, my number 10 of best of 2023 is Scream 6.
Okay.
Now I'm a Scream fan and everything, and this is a good movie. I do like it. Of course, the absence of Neve Campbell is there, but even without her, it's a pretty good movie. It's pretty gory and it's well paced. It's got a lot of good things going for it. I guess the worst part about this movie is it plays it way too safe.
Okay.
At the end, when it's all said and done, it's just way too safe. And it's like, there's just not enough chances taken or risks taken with the movie, and that was unfortunate. Now, of course, now with everything up in the air, I'm sure none of this is really going to matter anyway. But I mean, it was. It's like these guys. They created the Radio Silence guys. They created some of these characters, with Scream 5, and I feel like they just didn't want to. They're like, they're my babies. I don't want to touch them. It's like, oh, come on. I mean, Wes didn't do that.
Right.
Yeah. So that was kind of unfortunate, and had that not have happened, I think it would have been even better. But that's the one thing that really held it back, was just playing it way too safe. Like, you're like, these are my franchise babies. I can't do anything. But
what? So the fifth one compared to this, part 5 compared to part 6. Which one do you like better?
I think, like, as far as like the pacing and kills and stuff, 6 is probably better for nostalgia and stuff, because it does have Nev and Dewey and all that in part 5. I do think it's better, but as far as like the slasher part, 6 is probably better.
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny you say that, because Scream 6 is my number 9.
Oh, I didn't know you watched it. You watched it recently.
I did. I just watched it like 2 or 3 nights ago.
Okay,
I told you, I was literally all week long. I was like, I gotta watch this. Like, I know this is gonna be like so good. I'm not a big fan of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a big fan. I do love slashers. I love the first one, but I remember I didn't even see the second one. I skipped 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
2, 3, and 4. I did watch 5. So for 6, for me, the reason this made my list is because it's still, at the end of the day, it's a really good slasher film.
But it was played too safe, don't you think?
I do think so in the end, because I was like,
Yes.
oh, and Ghostface has all these, like, we can disappear like really quick and move really fast. Like, you blink your eyes and he's gone. But in the end, it's like, oh. I don't know. It did play too safe. The shrine thing, the shrine part, I thought that was kind of goofy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was. I was just like, oh, that's kind of goofy. But, and another thing is, I think that, and I could be wrong, but there was some little parts I wasn't picking up on, because it was referencing back to some of the maybe part 3 or part 4.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have did a rewatch of 5 before I watched this. I've only seen 5 once when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have did a rewatch of it because a lot of it I think did kind of reference some of the other Scream movies that I didn't really pick up on right away.
Yeah, they all do. They all reference each other. You know, they're
See, and I
all
didn't
very.
even know that. I had
Mhm.
no idea. So I would actually want to almost sit down and watch all of them, just because I haven't done that. And I'm like, maybe I've been missing out all these years. I don't know, but I did. It did make my top list, surprisingly. I did enjoy it. Number 9, but it was still pretty gory and had some good kill scenes.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say watch 2 because I really like 2. I think it's really good.
Okay, all right, all right.
All right,
So what's your number 9?
all right. My number 9, kind of like with Skin and Rink, it does say 2022 on this movie too, but it didn't get released. I don't think um, worldwide or whatever until this year, so I didn't see it till this year. Anyway, it's called The Outwaters.
The Outwaters. Okay, I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer to it, and you've talked about it, right?
It's that found footage movie that's just kind of goes ballistic, and it's just pretty wild and crazy. It's a sort of a fever dream. I mean, there's a lot of wild and trippy stuff in it, but I think it's pretty well done. And found footage is iffy for me and everything, but I liked it enough to where I thought, well, this is well made. I'm not sure if I picked up on everything that they were trying to convey here, but yeah, I think it works, and there's some really pretty decent scenes in here.
So would you consider this movie extreme?
I mean, there's some gory parts, but I don't know about extreme.
It's funny because I've been watching a lot of. I just want to check out what everybody's thinking. So I did watch one where it was on someone's top extreme horror movies. I was like, really? Is it really that extreme? But
I mean, for
maybe for the
right, yeah, yeah, maybe for like typical regular horror
yeah.
viewer, it might be
Yeah.
extreme. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say. I mean, there are a couple of scenes. There is definitely a couple of scenes that you go, whoa.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wouldn't say completely extreme. It's not Tumbling Doll of Flesh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. All right, cool. So I love it. I'm writing down your list. So any that you have on your list that I missed, so it's gonna be like one of my first ones to go and check out. I'm gonna hit them before the end of the year.
All right.
All right. So number 8, I have Nefarious.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, I love Nefarious. It was I feel like it was really underrated, and I don't know if you remember me talking about this movie or not, but the entire time I'm sitting here going that with your main character, he was the guy was such a great actor. I was like, oh my god! And I was like, he looks so familiar. Who is it? I finally had to look it up. It's Sean Patrick Flannery, and I was like floored. I was like, I cannot believe that's who that is. I haven't
It's
seen
Powder.
Right? You remember Powder? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, Boondock Saints, love that movie. Yeah, so I was like, damn, holy shit. He hasn't aged very well. He hasn't aged very well. I met him he was at one of, I think it was 2015. He was at the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Festival in Nashville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I met him there. He's really, really cool, down to earth guy. But he plays such a good role in this movie that his acting is one of the reasons I absolutely loved it. And the ending I thought was pretty killer. But yeah, I really like this movie, mostly because of him and his acting in it. So yeah, definitely put that one on your list for sure.
Okay.
Arius.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. So what about you? What you got?
Number 8 for me is a movie that you don't really particularly like, but I do enjoy.
Okay.
Infinity Pool.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. Hey, it didn't make my my least disappointment.
Right,
I mean,
right.
It's got a Skarsgård in it. I mean,
Right.
Get credit for just that alone.
Yeah. Well, Cronenberg, I mean, I feel like he's doing some good stuff. And, David Cronenberg's son, Brandon. And while it's not a typical horror movie, but there's enough horror in it to classify it as a horror movie. And it's the thought alone of the plot of like people doing this, is just like, whoa. so out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so along with, again, his father and the body horror and everything. So I did enjoy it. I thought it was really good. I'm looking forward to what he does next. So it's just one of those movies that's, yeah, I can see it's not for everybody for sure, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not a typical Hollywood movie, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I like Skarsgård and I do like Mia Goth, so it works for me.
It's crazy because I could not, I could not stand the character. Oh my god, James. I'm like, oh, shut up. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But there was in last podcast when we were talking to um Michael Flynn, he had mentioned this movie that I think he had bought like a different version of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Um
Uncut.
Uncut. Okay, I couldn't remember what it was, the uncut version. I'm like, maybe if I do a rewatch, maybe I should watch that version of it, And we talked about him and I'll have to get together and do like a movie night or something. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So for me, next up we have, and I don't know if we've talked about this one or not, because it's another one that I just watched. It's
Okay.
called Talk to Me.
Talk to me. Yeah. Okay.
What I liked about this the most, I mean, it wasn't real scary or not even, I mean, it's a little gore, not a lot. But what I liked about this movie the most is that it was so different. We were talking earlier how I was like, are they running out of ideas? And you're like, oh, it's been happening for a while. But this movie, I thought it was a little different.
It's different enough. I mean, it's, it doesn't break the mold or anything, but it's enough to be like, yeah, this is enjoyable. This is something that you don't see all the time. Again, it does borrow from a lot of things and kind of,
I was like, it's almost like a Ouija board, but it's like a
right.
But
it makes it its own, right?
Yeah, right. But I was like, oh, it's a little different, and the end.
Yeah, the end was good.
I really liked it. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what happens because I'm going to make this spoiler free. But yeah, the ending was, I really liked the ending. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't see it coming. Loved it. So I would highly recommend it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. For me, number 7, Totally Killer.
Okay. All right. Totally Killer.
Totally Killer. The Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder, and the girl has to go back in time, back to the 80s. Always a good time.
Yeah.
Always a good time.
Always a good time.
I went into this movie not having high expectations at all, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I thought it was just a lot of fun, some decent comedy and some pretty decent kills as well. So yeah, I really did like it.
So speaking of my number 6 just so happens to be Totally Killer.
Well, that's funny. And that's really funny because my number 6 is Talk to Me.
Oh, wow. That is so funny. That is so funny. We always do think a little bit alike sometimes, but
yeah.
Totally Killer was, I thought, it was a really fun slasher film. The acting was really great. Mm-hmm. The time traveling was a little weird, but it still gave it just that interesting twist. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I think it was good. Yeah, I mean, time travel thing, it can, in time loops and whatnot. I mean, those can get old real fast, but I think it worked for this film.
Okay, all right. So, well, we covered we covered your what number are we on? 6?
We're on number 5 now.
Number 5. So this one might surprise you.
Okay.
But my number 5 was Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. Okay, that was really close to being on my honorable mentions. I didn't put it because I felt like it's more of a comedy than it is horror, even though it does have some good gore, but it's definitely funny, definitely has that tone, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, that's one thing that I kind of liked about it was that it had some really good kill scenes and gory, but yet it was funny, and Ray Liotta. film. God,
Oh,
rest
was
in
it?
peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray Liotta. It was his last film. And another thing I kind of liked about it is I remember mentioning it, and my daughter, who does not watch horror movies like it at all, she's
Hmm.
like, Mom, you're gonna go see Cocaine Bear? I want to see Cocaine Bear. I'm like, really? Oh my God, I'm so excited. And I remember like the first like kill scene, I was like, oh shit, she's over there tripping balls. But she was pretty cool. Even at the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Festival this year, she went and ventured out, and she'd come back. She's like, look, Mom, I got some Cocaine Bear earrings. I was like, oh, that is so gnarly.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my number 5.
Okay, it's a good movie. It's a good one. Number 5 for me, Saw X.
God, that's one I wanted to squeeze that one in this week also,
Hmm.
but it wasn't streaming anywhere where I could stream it for free.
Right.
Or I don't remember where you could watch it at, but or I didn't
Yeah.
have a subscription for.
Yeah, I don't think it's out yet as far as like streaming. I don't think. I could be wrong. I mean, I know that it's out, but it's not like on a free, streaming service or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. I like it. It pushes all the Saw buttons. If you like Saw, you'll probably like it. If you don't like Saw, you won't like it. It's pretty much that's what it is. I mean, it's good to be back in that sort of world. It's been a little while.
And they've announced that they're coming out with a new one already.
Coming out
We
with a new one.
talked about
So
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it did pretty well apparently. So more to come.
I definitely want to watch it. Like, I really, really, really wanted to squeeze that one in. And that's the thing too, is that again, coming up with these lists, I'm like, damn, there were so many that I really, really wanted to see, but I just didn't make it. So, there's that. So, but Saw X definitely one of them. So number 4 for me
Mm-hmm.
is Wrath of Becky.
Wrath of Becky. Now, Wrath of Becky was on my list. It kind of went back and forth between that and The Outwaters, and I really, honestly, probably go back and forth with either one of those because that's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm. Until this year, I had never even seen Becky,
Right.
and I watched that and I was like, oh, I was chomping at the bit. I was like, after I saw Becky, I was like, oh my God, I want to watch Wrath of Becky like right now. And, I thought it was like an adrenaline fueled, fun roller coaster ride. And you just kind of fall in love with Becky's character. And, you want to see her succeed and like her journey, for justice. And
Mm-hmm.
Sean William Scott, he played Daryl Jr.
Yeah, he was good.
Really good, and it's like such a different character for him. I'm like, holy shit, it's another really great, it just goes to show, really great actor, really good acting.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're probably going to make a third one, I would think. And so
I would say so, and I'll definitely want to watch it for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. Number 4 for me, Project Wolf Hunting.
Okay, awesome.
We've talked about this and sang the praises of this movie really, really well. And the only reason it's not really higher because it really checks off all the gory, bloody, boxes for sure. I think the only reason it's not higher for me is just because at the end of the day, it's not, other than the gore, it's not really a horror movie. I mean,
Yeah.
you do.
Yes.
I mean, you do have the monster guy, whatever sort of thing, but I think overall the tone is a little bit more, action, crime, drama.
Yeah. So I know you've heard me say over and over again, I'm like, this is like my favorite movie of the year. And I went and bought it almost immediately. I didn't even put it on my list. I thought about this over and over again. And I'm like you, I'm like, it's not really a horror movie. There's so much gore that's one of the reasons I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's still one of my damn favorite movies, and I own it. I've seen it 3 times already. I'll probably watch it again. But it didn't make my top horror movies because it was almost not a horror movie to me, but still like one of my favorites though, for sure. But I'm like you though, it's I think it's considered a horror movie, isn't it? Or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's label for it, horror. But again, that's really just because of the blood and stuff, I think, and just the amount of gore that's in it. Which, I mean, that is part of horror. But there's sometimes certain like just a certain tone that you get, with
yeah,
horror, and this one doesn't have that much. Maybe in a couple of scenes, maybe in a few scenes there, but not overall. I would say it's just not there. But yeah, it's a good movie.
yeah, yeah. But I agree with you, and I know this probably surprised you. It probably surprises you that that's not on my list. But I kept thinking about that over and over again. I was like, man, it's just not really a horror movie. And anyone that I've asked that's seen it, they're like, oh, it's a horror movie. It's but more of an action. But yeah. So moving on.
Okay.
My number 3, and I wonder if this one surprises you. My number 3 is Insidious Red Door.
Really? All right.
Mhm.
Wow.
It's because I love the franchise. The first one and the second one, I love both. The second one just as much as the first one, just because I thought that they tied the stories together so well.
Mm-hmm.
And now there was a third one and a fourth one,
That's right. Yeah.
and I kept thinking this entire time, I was like, oh, the third one I didn't like. I think the third one I haven't seen. I think the fourth one was the one that I didn't like because it didn't really have anything to do with the original characters. Is that right? Am I right?
That is true. 3 and 4 don't have anything to do with the original characters. It has more to do with the little paranormal crew there.
Okay. That's right. I remember not liking it like at all. So this one came out, and I think even years and years and years later, and they still had all the same people. I thought they did really well, tying it into the first and second movie. So I love that aspect of it. But yeah, I love the franchise. I've always been a huge Insidious fan, so I thought it was pretty good.
Insidious is probably the best PG horror. It's about as good as you can get. I mean,
think so.
I mean, there's
forget it's PG-13, but it is. It really.
Yeah. I mean, there are ones like The Ring, I would say, put up there too. But for like real scary horror, it's probably the best.
Yeah, horror PG-13 is difficult to pull off for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So what about you? What do you got for number 3?
Number 3, I got When Evil Lurks.
Okay. When Evil Lurks. Awesome. Okay.
This is in a remote village. 2 brothers find a demon-infected man just about to give birth to evil itself. They decide to get rid of the body, only to end up intentionally spreading chaos. It's a possession movie, which kind of jumps from person to person, and so it's not, again, it doesn't break the mold, but everything it does is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Does it very well. There's some really good scenes in here, and because it is a foreign film, some of the stuff feels a little disjointed, and I think it's just because culturally it's different. But like there's if you've seen the cover with the girl with the axe, man, that scene, it stays with you. It's just it's great. I would recommend it.
I haven't seen the cover. Like I'm gonna look it up like right now. So.
There's different ones, but the main one that you usually see is the girl with the axe. And yeah, I think it's a good movie. It's really well done.
Okay, When Evil Lurks. Oh yeah. Okay, I do recognize it. It's red in the background. Yes,
Yeah.
This is streaming on Shudder.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. So my number 2, my number 2 is Evil Dead Rise.
Aha, that's my number 2.
Okay. Evil Dead Rise. Saw it in the movie theater. It did meet my level of expectations for the gore, and story was good. The acting was great. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those I went and saw the screening of it on 420, and at first I couldn't figure out why everyone in the movie theater was laughing. I was like, "This is not a funny movie. What the fuck? Oh, they were all stoned."
Yeah, right.
That was the craziest thing. I was like, "What is happening?" It's just pretty intense, and everybody around me's laughing. No, it's a great movie. I haven't watched it since I saw it in the theater. I think you saw this in the theater also, didn't you?
I did see it in the theater. Yeah,
Have you seen?
I've seen it about 3 times now, I think.
Have you? Okay, so
Yeah.
we started to do a rewatch of it the other night. Something happened where we couldn't do it, but yeah, I want to do another rewatch of it because I loved it that much the first time that I saw it. And that it made like my number 2 on my list. So yeah, definitely want to watch it again. But if you have not seen this movie, definitely check this one out.
I don't think it's a great movie. I mean, it's not as good as the remake, I don't think.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I was thinking the same thing. I do think it's a great movie, but the remake, I can't remember what year that come out, 2013 maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
That one really shocked me. I didn't think it was going to be good when I watched it, but I remember like it kind of blowing me away. It had so much freaking gore, and its story was great. I love that. Evil Dead Rise, it didn't top that one, but it was still good enough to like make my number 2 on my list.
Right, exactly. Same here. I mean, I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's really good. And in a year where, again, there's not great movies, any Evil Dead movie is going to be a good movie if they do it right. And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth watching. It's very similar formula. It doesn't change much up here, but there's a couple little things there toward the end. But again, it's not as good as the remake or the originals, either one really, but it does have enough of what you love about those movies to really enjoy it.
So you might know this, or you might not. Did the person that directed this movie, did they direct the last one, or had anything to do with?
Nope.
Any of them? No.
I don't think it had anything to do with it. No.
Okay. So, well, I mean, it was still good, and but definitely want to do a rewatch on it for sure.
Yeah.
So my number 1 on my list, it's
number 1
is it was your number 2, your number 3, When Evil Lurks.
Oh, really?
When Evil Lurks. I just watched this. I just finished watching it before we got on the podcast.
Oh, awesome. So you like it, huh?
Yeah, I've been trying to watch this for a while. And I remember it was at the theater for like a hot minute, and I wanted to go to the theater and watch it, and I didn't get a chance to because it was only there for a little bit. And when it come out on Shudder. My Shudder subscription had canceled, so I had to like redo my Shudder subscription just to watch this. And I finally got it today. I was like, I'm gonna watch it, but damn, it's good. Like, I did understand what you were saying when you're like, it's like a different culture. So but I could get past that.
No, I think that worked in the benefit for it. I think it made it seem a little bit like just like some presence is not right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it seemed like strange. It made it stranger because of the fact that they were all, there's a possession, this evil out here, kind of like the old traditional, this kind of thing,
Yeah, and they pushed boundaries that surprised me. So I was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. I mean, not something we were like, oh my God, that's so funny, but
right.
It did. I was like, holy shit, wow. Which kind of pushed it up there to my favorite of the year. And I don't want to give any spoilers away. I definitely recommend it. You can stream it on Shudder right now. It's really good. It's not too long. And one thing I love this about this movie. It starts off right off the bat. Off crazy.
Yeah.
So you don't have. There's no build up. You just jump in head first. And
absolutely. Yeah.
So I really appreciated that, and it's just. It doesn't stop. It just keeps on going all the way through. And you're like, what's going to happen next? It's crazy. I really enjoyed it though.
Yeah. I need to do a rewatch of it because I've only seen it once, but yeah, it definitely was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when I asked you about it, because I've had it on my list for a while because I wanted to watch it, and I don't even remember if we talked about this on the pod or outside the pod, but you're like, yeah, I've seen it, but you didn't really have a lot of feedback, so I wondered how much you had remembered of it. Do you remember when you watched it? Do you know?
I mean, not too long after it dropped. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Not too long, but yeah, it's been a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, definitely do a rewatch on it for sure. So, I'm dying to hear your number one. Dying.
What do you think it is? You have a clue?
I think it's something I haven't seen.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Number
Okay.
number one. I mean, these kind of all went back and forth interchangeably. I just made this list last night. I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it, but
Yeah.
and some of them probably can be interchanged, and who knows. Again, it wasn't a year that I thought this is definitely my number one. This is definitely the one I love, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So because it just wasn't that kind of a year. But the one that I had the most fun with, I think, in theaters especially, is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. That one almost made my list. It was really good. Not another Thanksgiving movie like that out there. That's for sure.
No, I mean, I really loved the kills. I mean, it was obviously familiar territory of the slasher, craze and everything. I thought had a good killer. I thought the motives was decent enough. I love the fact that it actually put a horror movie in that holiday. That we finally have a good Thanksgiving holiday horror movie that
me too.
we can watch every year.
Yeah.
So I'm aching to watch it again. So when it comes out on digital and stuff, so that one again, we'll see how it works with many more watches. But for right now, I really do feel like it's one of the best movies that came out in 2023.
Yeah. That department store scene or grocery store scene. Wow. It's good.
Right.
I'm looking forward to because we talked about this, they're already coming out with a part 2. So
right. So it did pretty well,
yeah, they announced that while it was still in theaters. I was like, damn, it must be pretty damn good.
Right.
I think I saw it on Black Friday and the movie theater was packed. There wasn't an empty seat in there.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, so awesome.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah, really good. Again, there was none. I was like, oh my God, it just satisfies me. This is it. Like Sadness last year.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't have one like that. And there was some, other okay movies out there that didn't make my list. But
well, yeah. I mean, there was a long list. I mean, you had some on your list that I didn't have them on, but did kind of cross my mind to go on my list, or maybe was at one point. And, so I mean, there was a plenty of good horror movies of 2023, but maybe just nothing was crazy.
And there were some movies out there too that I really wanted to watch. One I couldn't get around to watching it because I've had such a busy year, or two that I just couldn't find it to stream. A couple of those was The Jester. Did you ever see The Jester?
No, I never saw The Jester.
Yeah, see, that's one that I really wanted to watch. I just didn't get around to watching. It Lives Inside. Did you see that one?
I saw that one.
Did you like that one?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. It was PG-13. So.
Okay.
I have to say that because again, when you hold the bar up, Insidious, it's not Insidious or The Ring level quality, but I mean, for a PG-13 movie, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Saw. I haven't gotten around to seeing that one yet. So, were there any movies out there that you wanted to see this year that you just didn't get around to watching that you know of?
I mean, there's tons. I will come up with something every day almost and be like, oh, I want to watch that. And, it's just like you add it to the list or you forget about it. It's just there's just always a lot of movies that you just don't get around to seeing. For one reason or another, whatever it may be. One that I didn't watch. I watched a lot. I did. I watched a lot of movies. I'm trying to think of one. that I really, really wanted to watch. I didn't get to. There was one called "There's Something in the Barn." That sounds cool. I don't know if that's any good or not. But that sounds kind of cool.
Were we talking about this not too long ago, or I think I might have seen that one.
Oh, did you?
I think so. I'm like, do you remember what it's about?
A typical American family inherits a family farm in Norway and quickly decides to relocate to the farm and turn the farm into a bed and breakfast for tourists.
Oh no, I haven't. I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer for it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that looks so good!" I feel like I was just talking about this not too long ago. No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I definitely have it on my list for sure.
Yeah. There's that one. I didn't get to see that Dear David one. I don't know about that one. It was something about a TikTok story. I don't know how good that one was, but I mean, there was a few. There definitely was a few, but I'll get around to them maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, Beau is
Okay.
Afraid. That's another one. The trailer doesn't look horror to me.
It's not a horror movie. It's
Okay,
not.
it's classified under horror, but when you watch the trailer, I'm like, is this a horror movie?
Well, Ari Aster is the one who made this movie, so just let you know.
Who?
Hereditary, Midsommar.
Oh God. Oh, you do remember how I feel about these.
Yeah. So
I'm not a fan. Oh man, it'll be hard for me to sit through it. Okay.
yeah, it's not a horror movie. It's more of a comedy, really. I think. I mean, it does have a few trippy moments and stuff, and maybe anxiety-fueled moments and stuff like that. But I wouldn't call it a horror movie. No.
Yeah, and that's so. I've mentioned so many times. I like to see what other people are saying about movies, and I'm like, how many movies have they seen? Have they?
Well, I mean, that's true.
You can't see all of them.
No, and that's why I don't. You can take everything I say with a grain of salt because it's really just my opinion and
That's right.
my sort of takeaway from a movie. And I might like a movie for the colors, and you might be like, I hate these colors,
Yeah.
or some other reason, that sparks nostalgia for me, or says something that I like, or I mean, there's a million reasons why you might like a movie. You had a good day when you were watching that movie. It felt good to watch it, or you had a shitty day and you hated that movie because you had a shitty day, even though it's a good movie.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many influences. That's why sometimes I don't like to form an opinion until I have watched the movie a few times, to be honest. But sometimes you don't have that luxury. But yeah, I mean, that's why reviewers, the Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. I hate that sort of stuff because it's like, yeah.
I do too. A lot of my I'll watch YouTube videos, a lot of podcasters. Yeah, because I'm like you, I'm like Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, I'm like usually my opinion is the complete opposite a lot of the times compared to like, IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or different sites like those. Yeah, my opinion is so completely different. That's why I usually try to stick to YouTubers or podcasters. But yeah, I like to just kind of hear what other people are saying, and a lot of times when I'm like, hey, what am I going to watch? I'll go and check out like what other people are watching, and get recommendations that way, and put movies like that on my list, or if someone's out, I'm out and about. Every time someone's like, hey, you should check out this movie, I'll go and put it on my list. Always word of mouth of awesome horror movies is always good. But yeah, so wow, end of the year, kind of crazy, right?
That's it. Yep, that's it for us in the year. All right, so I mean that's it until next year because we won't be back until the clock turns to 2024.
Wow. Yep. All right, man.
And yeah.
Wow, crazy. So until next year, you have to stay extra specially hardcore. Extra especially hardcore. Yeah, awesome. Well, been an awesome year, and I guess we will chat next year.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. Later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
It's hardcore.
Nothing harder.
Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte is a part of the Tennessee Horror Podcast Network.